Welcome, dear students. The topic which we are going to cover up is engine, analyzer, and scanner. Because these days, with the complexity of the vehicle, because as you know that we have entered into the Bharat stage 6th vehicle, and what is the complex nature of the vehicle is that we have to use a computerized scanner to diagnose what fault are there in the system, because several control units are used in a vehicle in a single vehicle. The number of control units are also getting increased. So that's why a simple diagnostic system can't be used. So a computerized system or computerized engine analyzer is used. It can be either on-board type, on-board, or off-board, means away from the vehicle or on the vehicle. So we are starting with today's lecture. So starting with today's lecture, this graph is very much important. That what the graph is. From the graph, we can see that more the complex these days the vehicle are going on, means the complexity of the vehicle is increasing, because as the time increases, means as the year passes, as the year are passing, means from 2000 to 2016, you can see the year is mentioned over here, and the complexity of the vehicle is increasing gradually per year, means more the complex this vehicle is there, because due to the comfort conditions or due to the norms which are implemented by the environment society, the complexity of the vehicle is increasing day by day. And what the technician capability is, that is increasing with a steady rate, means it is not increasing with that much steepness. So a gap is left between technician capability and the vehicle complexity. So to increase the technician capability, a particular system is required, means a diagnostic equipment is required, and which will help the technician not to go by this rate, just to increase its capability. So the gap which was shown to you earlier, the gap was this much. Now the gap has reduced. So this figure is important when you explain that why there is a need of engine analyzer, because the technician can't go with the simple tool and diagnostic tool to diagnose the vehicle. Now starting with the engine analyzer, I am showing you some pics that these are the engine analyzer. These are trolley based, and these are called off-board, because in this what used to happen, they are outside the vehicle, and a data link connector, just go through a term, that is a data link connector. This is a 16-pin data link connector. This is standard 16-pin data link connector, which is used to connect these diagnostic connectors to the vehicle and see the signals on this, means what the fault codes are there, and all these are there directly on the screen. And beside this, some test instruments are also there in this. I will show you that these are the cables, which are the test instrument probes. These are used to measure voltage, resistance, current, diodes, or these parameters in oscilloscope also, means in milliseconds. So that's why these probes are also used. So as a test instrument it can be used, or as a diagnostic tool, DT, diagnostic tool also it can be used. So to communicate with the vehicle, these are used, and the figure which I am showing you is are of off-board, means outside the vehicle. This can be used inboard also, because this is a tab type, and this can be used inside the vehicle also. So in the next image we can see. In the next slide you can see this is a portable analyzer, and this can be taken inside the vehicle, and it can be directly connected either to the Bluetooth device or by the 16-pin connector, and to take the signals. This is the on-off switch, and other parts are shown to you. This is the screen, the front of the tester, and this is used to display the signals directly on this screen. Now what the engine analyzer is. Engine analyzer is essential tool for finding fault in modern engine. I have told you that more the complex these days engines are, it increases the capability of the technician. Portable analyzer is most favorable equipment, as it allows flexibility in operation, because you directly switch from off-board to on-board, means you get the flexibility to switch from the off-board to the on-board. Now the latest analyzer can generate a connection with computer, because these are a mini computer also. This allows some facility that can be added to an analyzer by simply changing the software, because each and every company used to have its own software to communicate with the vehicle, because as we know that we require a software to run a program or anything. A particular software is required. Simply, if you are communicating with a BMW vehicle, then ultimately you will use the 16-pin connector, but after connection a software is required. So that software is that particular system part that you should collect from the net also, that what type of software main companies or major companies like BMW, Audi or Mercedes are using. That is your task. You can find out from the net what software they are using for the OBD, onboard diagnostic system, or off-board diagnostic system, because these days we are having the OBD2 type vehicles. Simple engine analyzer consists of three parts. That is, one is the multimeter. You know that the multimeter is a device, a small device, in which two probes are there, and it is used to measure voltage, current, I, resistance. This is the Ohm's law component, V is equal to IR, and then the diodes also. The continuity also is measured by it, and we measure other parameters also. Means that as a multimeter we can use, as a test instrument, as a gas analyzer we can use, as an oscilloscope, because certain signals are digital and last for very less second, that are milliseconds. For milliseconds we can't use multimeter. For milliseconds signal we have to use a oscilloscope, in which signal can be magnified and can be seen. Now in the next slide, how this types of signals are taken, because it has told that it can be used as an oscilloscope also. A digital oscilloscope is this, because normal oscilloscope is not there. A multimeter means you have to connect all these cables of voltage, U for voltage, resistance, diode, current. So there is an interface box that is available with the engine analyzer. Means engine analyzer although work on digital signal, but direct currents or voltage or everything are given to these ports, and they used to give a particular signal that is used by the engine analyzer. So these types of ports are shown, that are DSO ports. These are SZ clamp ports, means to measure the current. These are KV clamps. These are certain other temperature or pressure sensor clamp, which are shown over here. These are the pressure sensor clamp, which are shown over here. These are the pressure sensor clamp. So this is the extra instrument which is available with the engine analyzer, and this is used to convert the analog signals, means direct voltage and current, into digital, and this box will give digital signal to the engine analyzer. The probes, as I have told you that certain probes are used for measuring the voltage, resistance, current and diode. Voltage, resistance, diode and current. So the probe is being shown over here. These are the probes. A protective cap is also there on the probe, and all these probes are hanging on an arm, because I have shown you that arm is there in this device, and these are the arms, and these probes are hanging over it. And if you want to measure the terminal voltage of a battery, means what is the plus voltage and what is the difference, potential difference between the plus and minus, you have to directly connect these terminals to this, and directly you will get the display that what voltage are there. So this is the image of a probe. This is being shown, and this is 4 mm probe. A button is also there to refresh the reading, and the test probe is shown over here. Similarly, we are having the oscilloscope also, because there are two oscilloscopes, data oscilloscope 1 and 2, because signal in CAN system, because we have to read the data signals, and for reading data signal we require two oscilloscope at a time. This is a different thing, that why two oscilloscopes are required, but you should learn that two oscilloscopes are required in an engine analyzer for reading the signals of electronic signal. Now the second thing is the SZ clamp. The current clamp is shown over here. If a wire is going and without removing its insulation, means insulation is also there on the wire, and without removing the insulation, if you want the what current is flowing inside the wire. Then we use this type of instrument, and in this instrument what we used to do, we directly used to open this adjust clamp and cover this, and this wire is allowed to go through this hole, and from this hole whatever current is flowing, it is directly read. In this way we don't have to naked the wire, and the insulated wire directly gives the current. This is a 100 ampere clamp, and this is the another clamp. Now what there are the key component of engine analyzer is oscilloscope facility to see the signal under test. I will show you that how this used to work. Either an infrared handset or standard QRT qubit control the machine. Means either infrared handset is there or a button type machine is there, because most of time we used to have a keyboard. The information is displayed on the VGA display. I have shown you the display is there with color graphics. Output can be sent to standard printer, because when a customer hard copy is required, that actually this fault is there, what fault code the system has generated, and what repair is required in the system, in the vehicle. Now in this screen, this is a screenshot of the screen. The computer which we have opened, I have shown you that the onboard system has a screen, and this you can see there is an option for multimeter. If you click on there are two options for test instrument, because here there are certain options. In the option, if you go for the test instrument, then there are two options. One is multimeter and another is oscilloscope. If you click on the multimeter option, then what you will get? You will get these many options. You can either check the voltage, you can either check the resistance, means three component of the Ohm's law, V equal to IR, voltage, resistance and current. Thereafter you can check the continuity also, means whether the wire is continuous. Thereafter you can check the diode. You can go for the voltage test, means certain signals are in the form of 0 and 1 form, means high and low voltage. So the oscilloscope you can use, the pressure you can test, the temperature you can test, and final is the pressure, temperature, and next is the last is the current. Without removing the insulation of wire, the SZ clamp is used, because this clamp I have shown you in the previous image. This was the clamp I have shown you. So this is used to measure the current. Now we are going for the instruments, means in the test instrument we are measuring a certain data, that is voltage. The first thing we are measuring, if we click on the voltage and we connect two probes to the terminal, if you are connecting to the battery terminal, plus and minus, then what signals are you getting? So directly you are getting the voltage that is mentioned over here. In the test instrument you have connected the voltage, and on clicking this you are getting the voltage reading. You can get the direct current also, AC current, and by selecting voltage, and then you have to go for the units of volt, you directly get the reading. So in this way you can use the multimeter function. Another function is the oscilloscope function. I have told you, because in oscilloscope what used to happen, when multimeter fails, when multimeter is not able to give the data, because when certain data last for only milliseconds. I have told you, when a electronic signal or data signal is there, that lasts for a millisecond only. Then again the zero signal is there, then the signal lasts for milliseconds, then again zero, signal lasts for milliseconds, then again zero. For measuring such a short voltage, means voltage which lasts for milliseconds, you can see this distance is a distance which is being shown over here between these two lines is of millisecond. This is written also 0.1 millisecond, 10 to the power minus 10 seconds, milliseconds for one division. This is the time. In this time you have to measure the voltage or current or whatever thing you have to measure. For this two channel DSO is used. One is DSO1 and second is green color, that is DSO2. So this is a long means topic, but a short introduction is given to you. This vertical division in the oscilloscope, this is a graph, because in oscilloscope it gives us the capability to zoom the time, means to get the data in fractions of seconds, which we don't used to get in multimeter. That's why for measuring instruments there are two options. One is the multimeter, if the signal lasts for long time. Another is the oscilloscope, if signal lasts for milliseconds or fractions of seconds. If the signal lasts for a long time, then we can use the multimeter. Now going ahead, what else is there? That besides this, the modern trend of the engine analyzer seems to be allowing both guided test procedure with pass-fail recommendation for less skilled technician. Means besides measuring the current, means as a test instrument, beside using as a test instrument or beside using as a oscilloscope, we can use it as a diagnostic equipment also, and the skilled, less skilled labor. I have told you in the starting slide itself that the technician is less skilled. The capability of technician is less. He can gain the capability by using these type of instruments and directly reach to the complexity of the vehicle. So in this way, what they have mentioned that we are coming to the slides. The less technician can pass or fail the system. Second, the freedom to test any electrical device in any reasonable way, means any way you can test. This is more appropriate for highly skilled technician because certain skill is required to get trained with the software also, because each and every company is using its own software. In the first slide I have told you. So certain amount of skill is also required. This is a 16-pin connector which is being shown to you. This is used to connect the vehicle. For this I would like to show you one video also, that how this 16-pin connector used to work and how it used to work. So starting with the video, this is the first video. In the video you can see that onboard diagnostic system they have shown, and what used to happen that with the strict emission norms, the vehicle become complex and several decision making systems have introduced in the vehicle, like EGR, when to circulate the exhaust gas and when to not. So this system was introduced in the vehicle that you can directly get the emissions, what emissions are there. It was introduced in 1972 by Volkswagen, and now later on in 1988, which is being shown over here, in California, the decision was made to make it compulsory, and later on it was made compulsory in all the vehicles in 1996. The onboard diagnostic system. Initially it was for emission only, and in the European Union also it became compulsory from 2003. Initially it was for emission system, but later on other systems were also used. How OBD used to work is being shown over here. If a fault signal is there in a vehicle, and this is the fault glow lamp which is lighting in the instrument cluster, the technician will connect. This is the will connect. Will open that port. This is the port which is shown over here. This is the port. This is a standard 16-pin port which I am telling to you, and this is used to connect the portable device to the vehicle, and the signals are taken that what actual the fault is there. This is the 16-pin which are shown 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is standard. You should always learn that whenever engine analyzer is connected to a vehicle, it is connected by a 16-pin data link connector. Just remember the term, that is called 16-pin data link connector. Now it is being connected to the vehicle, and by connecting, you directly communicate with the vehicle and what fault code are there, what fault code is generated in the particular ECU, whether it is a ECU of EGR or anything else, and what else thing you can measure is being shown in this video. Besides this video, one more video is there in which the total history is being shown, that how the system used to work and when this was made compulsory in 1996 in USA, 2001 European Union, 2005 medium duty vehicle, 2004 European Union diesel car, light trucks, it was made compulsory, and it used to work on the CAN system, means control area network, and the vehicle used to communicate with the engine analyzer or onboard diagnostic system, and these CAN signals are generated. These are shown over here. If a particular training was also given for this, and from the graph we directly get that what fault is there in the vehicle or what fault code are generated in the vehicle, which are it can be directly read from this. A particular skill is also required, and these are the graphs which are generated, which are shown over here from the vehicle, and these are the fault codes which are shown over here. This is a complete table is there for the fault code. This means what formula they have used and minimum and maximum value, what predetermined values are given, what it is deviating from that. So we directly used to get signals from that. And later on, what is else is there? The 16-pin connector I have shown you. The 16th pin they have also shown in this image. And the CAN wire, the control area network wire is there because a vehicle that 16-pin used to communicate with the main engine control unit, that is the ECU, and this ECU used to communicate with all the other systems because drivetrain unit, comfort unit, and infotainment unit. It is a big topic. This is being shown that how ECU used to communicate by data signal. Their symbol for data signal means this type of signal are there which are read by the oscilloscope, last for very milliseconds, and this system is shown over here. And data link connector using serial data is used. Now with this we end with the today's topic, and hopefully you might have liked this topic. And main thing is that whenever we use a engine analyzer, whether it is a off-board type, means outside the engine, vehicle, or on-board type, the video which I have shown you, the components are simple. That is, one is the multimeter, second is the gas analyzer and the oscilloscope, and these terms are explained to you. If any queries are there, then do ask me. Thank you.